Many people today go to great lengths to study business and to acquaint themselves with the principles and methods that will result in a great business. They devote a lot of time and energy in this pursuit, and after they complete their diploma or degree, they leave their various institutions of study feeling well equipped for the business world. This is no longer the case, however, especially in a world that is so fast-changing that if you blink, you could literally miss the next industrial or technical revolution. Learning is no longer a static experience, an expedition to be undertaken within specific parameters or a specific period. Instead, it has evolved into a process, one that literally never ends. Business models follow this convention rather closely. Instead of being rigid, static documents, they need to be fluid and easily adaptable to the changing business environment. You may need to have separate models for your micro and macro business environments, and while these documents might be different in design and in the various elements of their makeup, they serve one specific goal: profit. Various elements go into a good quality business model. These elements are easily understood, although sometimes not obvious. It will give you insight into the most effective business models around today and tell you why these work. There will be indicators as to the elements of these models that make them the success stories that they are today, judging by the phenomenal success of the companies from which these business models come. The movement of products and the processes by which these products or services are moved is essentially how businesses make their money. It is the details of these processes that should make up your business model. There are many other factors, too, that make up a winning model, but as said, this is not about how you develop a business model, but rather how you can apply the various elements of some of the best business models in practice today to create your own unique model. Before we get into the details of these various models and how you can apply them in the creation of your hybrid business model, let's give you a quick recap on what makes up a good business model. This will not be a detailed discussion of these principles, but rather a quick review of the components that go into successful models. Let us now delve very lightly into these elements, go into the details of some of the more successful models, so that you can get your head in the game of business and get your business model into such a state of synergy that it fits perfectly with the models that are appropriate to your industry. What makes up a good business model? Good business models are incredibly innovative, especially today. Every company, well, almost every company, is undergoing modifications to its business model at any given time. This is the true nature of business models. They must be like water, fluid, then icy, and where necessary, like steam. In the modern world, especially the new modern business world, you will encounter change constantly. If you are just entering this environment, be sure that you will meet with various levels of resistance from players who have been in the game longer than you have. Companies that have been around for longer can offer their products at lower rates now, with their extensive reserves and with the ability to pool their existing large client bases. Profits are continually being redistributed, industries are being reshaped, and companies are always looking for newer and more effective ways to create value for their customers. They do this by competing through their business models and working these against other players in the industry, as opposed to trying to create innovative models in isolation. This has created hybrid models, ones that work with each other instead of against one another in the modern business context. But what exactly constitutes a good business model, though? Business models should describe exactly how your business operates. It should detail the processes involved in creating value for your customers and turning this value creation into profit. How your organization operates, the means by which you compensate other businesses as well as your employees, the various contracts you have in place, the setup of your facilities, as well as your marketing and sales strategy should all be included in your business model. In short, a good business model should describe the managerial decisions and choices and systematically lay out the consequences of these choices. All managerial choices have consequences. For example, pricing, which is a managerial choice, affects your sales volumes, your company's scale economies, as well as your bargaining power, all of which are consequences. These consequences affect how your company creates and captures value, and as a result, should make up your definition of a good business model and be strategic components of your model once you set about creating it. Now that you know what goes into a good business model, let's look at some highly effective models that cover a variety of industries. We will go online first because this type of business has literally turned the business environment on its back. Let us look at how you can get it right online the first time so that your business can grow to surpass even your own expectations. You will learn how you can see profits quickly, or at least faster than you would have if you did not have an insider view of how the top online companies have created effective, winning business models today. Getting it right online. Okay, be warned, this is going to be the longest chapter, primarily because of the internet boom that we have seen since the inception of this space, but also because of the wide variety of businesses that you can start and succeed at online. The websites of various airlines have begun to significantly outperform regular online travel agencies, for example. This is because they do not have to add to their booking fees to make a profit. However, one travel site in particular has come up with a highly unconventional travel planning offer, one that has helped to ensure this company has continued success. This company is Priceline. As part of their business model, Priceline introduced the Name Your Own Price concept. This distinguished this travel site early on. Simply put, vendors will bid to match the prices that you as a customer set, not just for air tickets, but for hotel stays as well. This practice is so unique that it has intrigued companies in other industries. Even though Priceline offers traditional planning as well, having the Name Your Price program as part of their business model has really set them apart. The names of bookings offered under this program are not disclosed by name. In the case of airfares, the itineraries are not disclosed. This is a measure set in place to protect the supplier against the detrimental repercussions of having to change their regular prices because of their link to the lower discounted quotes. Priceline, too, have protected themselves by focusing on the high-end overseas travel market and hotel bookings, so that too much emphasis is not placed on those products that are specific to the volatile airfare market. Users are attracted to the lower airfares and are hooked into purchasing hotel bookings with higher profit margins. There is no need to add profits to their booking fees. Customized hotel options added to their travel bundles have ensured the continued success of Priceline. This business model does have a few downsides, however. The customer has to take a gamble with information that could be important. For example, who will your service provider be? What will your itinerary be? When will you travel exactly? None of this information is available under the Name Your Price option, not until you have booked your trip, which is non-refundable. If you are comfortable with these assumptions, however, then you can enjoy unbeatable prices as well as a rather straightforward agreement. Business travelers do not have the luxury to book travel with so many unknown variables, from unknown flights to not even being sure who their carrier will be. If, however, you travel regularly, you can enjoy great deals and take incredible advantage of the deals that are on offer through this model. Priceline pioneered the reverse auction. Other industries and sites, however, have frowned upon this brokerage model of travel deals, and they work to an opposite standard completely. They list deals and prices from the internet, and customers are therefore assured of the lowest price for specific products and packages that they choose. Some sites search for all travels on the web and then list options for the visitor to compare, depending on the trip specifications that you choose. If, for example, you do not like a carrier or seating option offered, then you will be able to compare similar packages best suited for your needs and preferences according to your individual tastes. The other option you have to affect your unique business model is to provide installable browser add-ons. Invisible Hand is one such tool. Some search engines also automatically show the lowest price for most products from the minute you start your search. Some suppliers pay an incentive, so they top the lists with little regard to the competitiveness of their prices. It is, however, easy for you to compare these results to know for sure if you're getting the best deal. The Priceline business model has truly worked for them. Regardless of how you may view their offers or their systems, this is something that you cannot deny. As an online business, they have really gone the opposite direction to the status quo, and this has had a massive impact on their bottom line in a positive way. eBay also has an impressive business model. They have brought the concept of aggression into the mainstream. With price comparisons as a major part of their online auctions, they have solidified their place in the buy-it-now sales market. Other companies have also applied this business model with great success. One such success story is Amazon. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, proved quintessentially that slow and steady really does win the race. After much effort, time, and consideration, his business model took off and exploded onto the information superhighway. He challenged traditional bookstores by starting an internet company with a wider selection of books than these stores could carry. Jeff Bezos housed his large inventory in warehouses that he bought, offering its buyers direct-to-customer service. Yes, he and his investors had to wait to see profits, but this has proven to be well worth the wait. As part of his model, he allowed criticism from readers of the products offered, using reader reviews and therefore building a rather faithful user community. Interest was earned on the immediate payments made by customers before even their suppliers were paid. It took a couple of years for Amazon to see profits, but it has shown incredible resilience. Their survival of the dot-com bubble burst has shown this. They increased their income-generating streams by adding CDs, electronics, and apparel. They acted as a portal for third-party affiliates, which fueled profits. These parties handled warehousing, while the company itself took a share. Bezos earned plenty of critics when he decided to put off profits in favor of growth. This model, however, ultimately showed dividends, creating a company that saw to customer convenience first, leading to success. By offering regular and offer aggregate sales into its pricing models, Amazon has come up with a killer combination. You can search for a book and receive the prices offered for the same title by other online retailers. They have even included bestsellers and private parties where these sell single new and used titles at specific, non-auction prices. Amazon offers its customers incentives for using their fulfillment setup. Included in this are their shipping discounts as well as their excellent customer service. Whether you are looking for a new or used books, their internal price aggregation is an excellent reason to go with Amazon. They know this, and they have made it the core of their business model. While this is different to the Priceline model discussed above, it is also an incredibly effective one. Woot has also evolved its business model to suit the changing environment with great success. They originally came up with the one-day, one-deal concept, which made limited amounts of single products available at great prices for one day. This idea transformed, however, as other players entered the game. They first diversified to create mini sites, which offered Woot deals each day in very specific areas, such as wine, t-shirts, and toys. More recently, they have entered the social network space. They investigate and survey the social networking interests of their customers and use this information to come up with innovative ways to give the customer information of those daily deals. Simple online adventure games are an example of this strategy. The introduction of tipping point sites like Living Social, Groupon, and Moolala put the one-day, one-deal business model on steroids. Taking this model to a new extreme, all these sites provide discounts on everything from meals and products to services with local vendors and merchants. They use crowdsourced buzz to ensure these deals are worthwhile for both the vendors and the site itself. Deals only become active and purchasable once a set number of people have shown an interest in them, however. Due to this, the industry has recently come under fire. This has been from many people who compare this type of setup to the pyramid scheme setup. Researchers and analysts, too, have questioned this business model, saying that it is detrimental to the merchants that it is attracting. Deeply discounted deals such as these have been known to work as loss leaders, especially for the local merchants and especially if it does not result in repeat business. If existing customers purchase the deals too, the chances of recuperating this remuneration from future business are slim to none. Critics have even compared the tendency of vendors to finance previous deals of this nature by entering future deals within this model with the recent credit crisis. This is a highly volatile situation, and while it clearly has great influence, the social online coupon model is one of those bubbles that seems set to burst at any time. In the infancy of the Internet, many entrepreneurs were rushing to try and find ways to take full advantage of this emerging tool, and although this was considered to be a gamble at the time, it is one that has paid off immensely to the companies that have applied fluidity and forethought to their business models. Financial power is the undisputable leader in the terms of makers of corporate success to date. This can be seen from stores like Walmart, who have a global hegemony and incredible financial power. In opposition to this, the Internet has introduced one of the most fascinating business models to date. Personal, customizable, one-to-one transactions are the basis of this model, and sites like Etsy and eBay have made good use of this model. The Internet links people, one willing to sell a product and one willing to buy it. Adding up these transactions, like the aggregating model of Etsy, you get more business than you would with just one simple high-volume, high-demand product. The long tail is a term that is often used in the online world. What this basically means is that a bestseller that does well for an online bookseller on any given day, they make way more money on the total number of products that they sell, many of them which will be in far less demand. Sites like Etsy, Threadless, Kickstarter, and Donors Choose are all sites that operate on this concept. A single, unique piece of art and the long tail can be worth enough to make the sites worthwhile because you know where your money is going and you do work with like-minded single individuals. We now have the ability to shop, pay for, ship, and deliver a huge array of merchandise. As little as 10 years ago, the person-to-person economy of books and art goods was totally unheard of. The Internet has brought this idea into reality, and this is so influential that it is affecting other business models, which are seeing the need to shift and change in order to incorporate these qualities into their own. Without person-to-person sales, businesses would not be as involved in social networking as they are today. For example, the Internet bubble model, the freemium model, and the advertising model are all business models that are applicable to Internet-based businesses. The Internet bubble model is highly flawed. It also very seldom works. Media hype created around the model leads to the business model being lost, with the idea that you will figure out the business model later. The freemium model is one where you as a customer are given something for free. The catch is you give the business your personal details in the hope that a relationship is established and you will buy from them in the future. The advertising model is one that became popular with the advent of television and radio. Revenue was earned directly from advertisers looking to tap into your audience. Online TV has also made successful use of this model. Some Internet businesses get their revenue because of their ability to offer advertisers targeted consumer niches. Websites with narrowly defined topics will attract highly defined audiences. You can then offer these niches complementary products or services with a higher probability of success as opposed to mass blanket advertising. This business model is particularly difficult to justify if it is your main income stream, however. If you are just starting up, though, and you are considering this model, then you should note that vanity metrics will be ignored by prospective investors who will want to see whether the underlying proposition will be profitable. We will now discuss franchising and look at a model that has worked well for its company. Franchising perfection. The McDonald brothers had an idea. They wanted to incorporate the restaurant business with the assembly line. This turned out to be an incredibly well-suited match, and the fast food industry was born. Selling 2 all-beef patties, a little special sauce, some lettuce, cheese, a couple of pickles, and onions on a bun does not a great franchise make, however. While quality, speed, consistency, and real estate made for a great business model, it was not until the brothers partnered with Ray Kroc that they exploded this model to its fullest potential. Ray Kroc was a salesman, in every sense of the word. He eventually took over the business completely, starting the McDonald's Corporation, which is a company that is dedicated to the franchising of the restaurant. While franchising was definitely not a radical idea, Kroc took it in a slightly different direction, even though other restaurants had been franchising long before the advent of Ray Kroc. As a landlord, the McDonald's Corporation became the largest restaurant fast food chain in the world. This business model was truly inspirational, and as a model developed by Kroc, it provided the launching pad for the fast food industry that we know today. How did Ray build such a successful model and therefore such a successful franchise? Well, he decided right from the onset to maintain strict control over his business. He made sure that the high standards that he set for his restaurants, including his business practices as well as his standards of cleanliness, are upheld in each and every restaurant that is opened across the country. While this practice turned off many large investors, and while the cost of leasing land made it difficult for Kroc to see any real profit, he had another plan: to sublease his properties to franchisees. This provided the necessary cash flow for him to put down payments on more land with a view to growing his franchises. This set the franchise business model in real motion. People could buy into a working business model in almost any industry. As Ray Kroc did, he received royalties in exchange for access to his winning formula. That is the essence of this business model, giving you access to proven success, winning recipes, support networks, and established brands. Ray Kroc provided the world with a superb franchise model. Others have followed in his footsteps, like Subway, Starbucks, and Burger King. They have gone on to establish themselves internationally, and these brands are instantly recognizable, so much so that you would think that the same person owns them. This is the key to a successful franchise. Establish your model, stick to it, be strict in your application of this model, and build your brand and establish its identity through close involvement with your franchisees. You can really build your franchise brand from the bottom up, even when nobody believes that you will make it. Every time you think you cannot or become overwhelmed by the obstacles, just remember Ray Kroc. Software and hardware. Getting the balance right. Dell revolutionized the way computer companies did business, adopting a process used first by Toyota in the 1960s known as JIT, or just-in-time. They no longer predicted the right parts to order. But completely eliminating inventory, well, almost, Dell removed what was once thought to be a necessary evil of computer companies: huge inventory. What this meant was the computer companies no longer had to watch the steady growth of pre-ordered parts on their shelves become outdated. This has always been a real risk for computer companies, in particular, with the rapid development of new and innovative parts and products. From having 1 week's inventory available at any given time, they managed to adjust their processes and business models so that they only have to keep as little as 2 hours' worth of inventory on hand at any given time. The combination of the just-in-time method with Dell's direct-to-consumer processes made for a truly hybrid model. With the retail intermediary eliminated, Dell was ultimately able to sell its products directly to its customers. The cost of their products came down dramatically. This resulted in lower prices for the consumer, as well as faster overall service. Also, because customers pay up front for their order, and Dell waits up to 1 month to pay for the suppliers who provide the necessary parts to build the custom personal computer, they earn interest on these advanced customer payments. This company really raised expectations in the PC industry. Consumers wanted good, faster service. By streamlining its processes and increasing its efficiency, particularly on the supplier end of things, the Dell business model paved the way for companies such as Apple, who quickly followed suit. Microsoft has also had an incredible impact on the world of personal computers. They developed the operating system for the IBM PC in 1981 and have exhibited an incredible adaptability to the challenges and developments in this industry ever since. This has kept them at the top of their game and the industry since. They dominated the software development market early on by creating user-friendly operating systems, specifically their Office suite, which has applications for both word processing and spreadsheets. These applications are known popularly today as Word and Excel. They receive licensing fees from every company that creates or develops software that is compatible with their operating system, the receipt of these royalties raising their revenue exponentially. They have also successfully exploited the Internet market. A relative newcomer to this scene, they developed their own web browser known as Internet Explorer. This web browser was pitted against Netscape, a superior browser at the time. They beat the competition, however, by attaching Internet Explorer to their other applications, which had already proven their success, allowing Microsoft to gain an incredible stronghold in the information era, an era that seems to be lasting for an incredibly long time and which seems to be growing by the second. Eric Marks wrote an incredible book called Business Darwinism. In this book, he explains the success of Microsoft's business model. He says that it is strengthened by their foray into other markets, spreading their software influence and outpacing competition in other arenas, including operating systems, web browsers, and gaming. Looking at the Apple business model, a pioneering interest that they share with companies like Google is you. At first glance, these two companies appear to work in different ways. Apple is a product and software manufacturer. Google, on the other hand, is a suite of online services, all offered for free. Both these companies, however, focus on your needs and are constantly looking for better ways to deliver value to you. Apple has a highly developed business model. They have three primary areas of focus: software engineering, hardware manufacturing, and retail. While each of these areas reaches customers in largely different ways, they operate around the same core key concepts. They match your needs before you as the customer can even anticipate these needs. They create products for your home and business. They create products for your entertainment. They have in-home as well as portable hardware. They keep their products priced just high enough for them to be aspirational and low enough, however, to be attainable. Apple has branded itself as the standard in quality, design, innovation, usability, and aesthetic. They have done this with both their hardware and software. Apple has reached every home, at least in part, creating each product to both sell their brand and also to create loyalty in your home. Your house might not be fully Apple supplied, but the chances are you will have at least one iPhone, iPod, or an iPad. Google has achieved online what Apple has accomplished in the retail world. The majority of Google products, from their basic search to Gmail to Google Docs to blogging software and online photo collections, are offered free, creating a feeling of comfort and familiarity that engenders customer relations across all of its divisions. Revenue, in fact, is the only difference between Apple and Google. We give money to Apple. Google, on the other hand, gains money from companies because of the data that they have about us. Both companies make money off us, however. Google does this indirectly. Advertisers are put in front of us in incredibly intelligent ways, and the connection between our consumer data and companies that Google has created is incredible. Both these companies have excellent business models based on the fact that they know us better than we even know ourselves. They have the ability to predict our behavior, not only because of how we have behaved in the past, but also because they have the ability to anticipate our needs even before we know what these are. This is the basis of success of many companies in the personal computing industry. Whether your business is hardware or software, retail or manufacturing, you can see from the above business models that success is possible. Let us now discuss in closing the business models that affect direct sales companies and see how you can avoid selling yourself short. Don't worry, this is another short chapter. Selling yourself, or rather your product or service, without selling your soul. Sam Walton was a man who knew a good idea when he saw one. He also knew just how to apply it in such a way that it would create the most significant impact. These two factors have made Walmart, which he founded, into the largest retailer in the world. Supermarkets proved one thing, as early as the 1930s, that you can cut costs, deliver low prices, and turn a profit. This was a revolutionary business model at the time, and retailers soon brought this way of thinking and conducting business over into general stores as well. Stores saved money on presentation. They cut back on the frills and fluff and provided you with the bare necessities. They also cut back on personnel, which meant that the service you received was less personal. However, cutting costs in these areas meant that prices could be competitively lower and that you saw more customer traffic, even though your setup was a little bare. Sam Walton perfected this business model. He saw the good profit that the general stores were turning, and instead of focusing on densely populated areas, he decided to build his stores in rural areas. He focused specifically on towns that had a population of between 5,000 and 25,000, knowing that customers would prefer shopping at his stores as opposed to driving to the nearest city. Walton had a significant advantage over any competitor that came after him simply because he was the first to enter these small markets. Such as the power wielded by Walmart today, that the survival of some companies depends on their ability to land a deal with this retailer. That is how you use an applied business model to your advantage and exploit and monopolize on areas that conventional wisdom would advise you strongly against entering. Other successful business models, if applied correctly, are discussed in brief below, and you can use them to your benefit immensely. The recurring revenue model, or the subscription model. With this model, you secure long-term contract customers, where your customers consume your products or services into the distant future. The cost of acquiring customers can be exponential. This is therefore imperative that your business retains these customers once you have hooked them. Utilities providers and even magazine publishers make use of this model. How can you apply it to your business? The pay-as-you-go model. This model measures actual usage, charging customers for what they consume. Mobile phone operators use this model. They sell phone cards or vouchers that give you credit, allowing you to make calls, text, or access the internet. Credit is measured in minutes, and these are reduced as you consume this credit. This is the direct opposite of the recurring revenue or subscription model. The low-cost model. This is among the most well-established business models in the world. You drive significant customer volumes at a very low acquisition cost, charging very low prices. You earn revenue from various ancillary sources, including bank card charges, lottery ticket sales, advertising on seats, flight insurance, priority seating, selling train tickets, and preferred car hire rates. This model does not focus on the extraction of extra cash from your customers via a host of methods. It is about configuring your business model in every aspect to drive cost out. A simple example of this is to have your staff pay for their own training and uniforms. A more complex example is when you buy oil futures to manage future fluctuations in the oil price. The affiliate model. Simply put, this model is based on someone selling your product for commission. This someone, however, never owns the product. They might never handle it. You simply reward them for customer referrals that result in sales. Given the ease of facilitation allowed by the internet, this has been a hugely successful business model. The direct sales model. The internet has emerged as a wonderful tool for direct selling to customers. Dell is a perfect example of the direct sales business model, and you can benefit greatly by removing costly resellers from your business equation. This is an incredibly attractive business model, no doubt. The auction model. eBay has become synonymous with this business model. Auctions have been around for a long time, with numerous examples of different auctions. The sealed bid auction, Vickery, English auctions, and Dutch auctions are some examples. An example of another auction is the tulip market in Amsterdam. All these auctions share some very specific characteristics. The goods price is not fixed. The individuals assess the value of the goods independently. Competitive bids determine the final value of the goods. The internet has made this business model very appealing. The bait and hook model. If you buy ink cartridges regularly, you will recognize this model immediately. You buy an ink cartridge for your printer, and then you make regular purchases of refills. Another example of this business model is where you buy razor blades, and then you continue to purchase the blades that keep your razor functional. Mobile phone providers have experienced exponential success on the back of this model. For example, you pay a lot of money for a smartphone and you purchase a contract with a minimum duration of 18 months. You can make successful application of any of these models to your business.